Was goody? Yep. It's me again. What's good, my people? What's good? How y'all been? How y'all feeling? How y'all been improving and getting better at life lately? Huh? Hope y'all been good, man. Hope y'all been alright. Hope y'all been pondering, meditating, reading the scripture, and just I don't know, just getting to see the Most High's face clearer every day. Man, that's all I can ask, you know? Today I bring to you a few articles about Beyonce. Now, these articles that I'm going to read, they're mostly articles of how one of her drummers in her band, her stage band, is accusing her of abuse, malice, witchcraft, I'd say. These three articles that I'm going to present today, they're the same articles, just each different article has different little details about this case or this opening accusation that this drummer, being Kimberly Thompson, has accused Beyonce of. And it's interesting that there's so many. I actually found like 6-7 articles about this, which just goes to show that this actually happened. Like, one of her stage band members actually filed a lawsuit against Beyonce. So this really happened. And then how true her accusations are, I'll let you be the judge of that. Me personally, I have very little doubts about the inaccuracy of her accusations. But we'll get into that. Now, one of the reasons why I like presenting stories like these is to show or to explain or to elaborate or to illustrate the fact that a lot of your favorite celebrities, a lot of my old favorite celebrities, are a part of this dark, shadowy organization, or part of this dark, shadowy force, which we're unaware of because we cannot see what happens backstage, aka when the cameras are cut off. But, in my heart, I'm certain that, a lot, if not all, of these celebrities are partakers in witchcraft or devil worship, which the Most High absolutely abhors. He absolutely hates. And for those of you who read scripture, you'd already know that this is probably one of the, if not the greatest crime or greatest sin that you could commit against the Most High. Idolatry, or worshiping and praising other gods, which is, one of the basis of witchcraft. Because when you're committing witchcraft, when you're practicing magic and casting spells, you're a part of that is worshiping or sacrificing to other deities, other gods, other spirits, other devils, other demons, or the devil himself, So I'm thinking I might call this segment Keeping Up with the Industry Plants, because a lot of industry plants, or a lot of industry celebrities are, taking part in. So let me get into it. So, Beyonce has been accused of extreme witchcraft by former drummer Kimberly Thompson. Kimberly Thompson, who is Beyonce's former drummer, is accusing the singer of extreme witchcraft. Thompson worked as Beyonce's drummer for 7 years and is now asking for a restraining order against her former boss, alleging that Beyonce is involved in dark magic and magic spells of sexual molestation, according to the blast, which claims to have access to court documents detailing Thompson's reasoning for a restraining order. The specific type of witchcraft or rituals that Queen Bee supposedly practices remains unclear. However, Thompson reportedly believes that the singer was using extreme witchcraft and utilizing these spells to tap her phone and control her finances, all to keep the drummer under surveillance. These actions are reportedly part of a harassment campaign orchestrated by Beyonce against Thompson. Now, for those of you brothers who have family outside of the U.S., maybe in Jamaica or Haiti or back in Africa where I'm from, so, you know that witchcraft being used to control finances is something that's not unheard of. Growing up, I'd hear about a lot of witchcraft attacks. In the workplace, from competition or from neighbors, unfortunately, and from like just people that don't mess with you. People that just don't like you, or people who are envious of you. And growing up, I didn't really believe that. I didn't really, get into all of that. But now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, this is actually really real. Like a lot of there's a lot of witchcraft going on under our noses without us even knowing. It could be, a neighbor or a friend or a girlfriend or something like that who has, cast a certain spell or something that could affect your finances, your work, career progress, your relationships, sexual performance, even, um, or overall mental stability. Now, am I saying that you're under you're under a magical spell? I'm not saying that, but be open to the possibility that things like this are possible. All right, the article continues to read that Thompson's request for a restraining order was denied by a judge, according to the blast. None of this information has been confirmed. Thompson had given no reason why she thinks Beyonce would come after her in such a way. Beyonce is a self-proclaimed boss, so it's expected that she run a tight ship with regards to the people who work for and with her. In an interview with Nylon in 2016, Thompson recalled having to get Bey's approval before getting a mohawk hairstyle. I couldn't have done it without Beyonce's approval, Thompson said. I had to show it to her, and she had to say okay. It's a part of her packaging and branding. She agreed to it. She loved it. Being a boss, however, is not necessarily an indicator for witchcraft. It is well known that Beyonce and her husband, Jay-Z, are intensively private regarding their personal lives. It won't soon be forgotten that Tiffany Haddish was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement after letting it slip that someone bit Beyonce at an after-party. There's also a rumor that Bey and Jay are involved in the Illuminati, the secret society, though which they have denied this. Solange Knowles, Beyonce's sister and singer, has shown interest in voodoo, accessorizing her 2018 Met Gala outfit with a bottle of Florida water, a type of liquid known for its spiritual properties, typically used in voodoo, Wiccan, or Santeria practices. A cool accessory and general interest in voodoo, and doesn't necessarily link that Knowles' sisters to dark magic, however. Now, something about this that I want to touch on real quick. One, Florida water. I actually looked into this a little bit, and this is actually real. Like, Florida water is like a witchcraft accessory that witches include in their spells or in their rituals or in their magic practices, because they believe that for some reason this Florida water has strong spiritual potency, and it could strengthen the spell or whatever magic they practice. And she's actually carrying that. And that's another thing that I want to remind you guys of. They do this right in front of our faces. The only thing is we don't know what they're doing because we lack knowledge. My people will perish for a lack of knowledge. We're just ignorant in all of this. Otherwise, there's witchcraft in front of us everywhere, every single day. We just don't know it because we're not privy to these things. We're not knowledgeable about these things. But best believe, man, the devil is real, and he is, his power is coursing through this world of flesh. Just another thing that I want to touch on is this hat. Well, not a hat, but this accessory, this head accessory that she's wearing. That sort of gives the illusion that it's hovering behind her head. That represents a halo. Like how angels would typically have an halo. But for someone like her, it's to commemorate the mother goddess, Isis, who is sometimes depicted as having a halo above her head, as in relation to the sun, as in relation to the sun god or the sun deity. you know? So that's all that is. That's sun worship. And for those of you who read the scripture, once again, we do not worship the creation, we worship the creator. You know, do not worship the sun, worship the being who created it, which is the Most High, God of all. All right, that's the end of this particular article. And I'll get into the next one, which is pretty much the same thing, just, just little details that the first one did not touch. All right. No one's ever really been able to explain Beyonce's effect on people. To be fair, she's created a brand by looking flawless and training herself to be one of the most talented entertainers of our time. Kimberly Thompson, a former drummer of Beyonce, has her own theories of the singer. According to documents reported by The Blast, Thompson filed a civil harassment restraining order against the singer for extreme witchcraft. Thompson was a part of Beyonce's all-female band for 7 years, according to the court documents. Filed a temporary restraining order with the Los Angeles Superior Court, which was denied. The restraining order provided by Thompson accuses of theft of intellectual property, as well as computer hard drives, but continues to spiral into some truly strange territory. Thompson is also accusing Beyonce of magic spells and molestation, the murder of my pet kitten, and magic spells on my lovers. Thompson is sticking to her account. All accusations I survived are real, as reported by Pitchfork. Alright, so the article goes on to say... Okay, so according to a Sarah Lyons, I'm not aware of Beyonce being a witch or practicing any occult art. But then again, many magical practitioners believe that the more secret a spell or working is, the more powerful it is. So who knows? Maybe Bey is just very good at keeping secrets. These are all pretty serious accusations, magically induced or otherwise, and I personally don't want to think Queen Bee is responsible for any of them. However, there are pretty much the same things witches have been accused of for centuries. During the early modern period, witches were accused of causing havoc in people's lives, breaking up relationships, killing animals, and ruining crops. The 17th century equivalent of stealing a computer hard drive. In many ways, this restraining order feels like a very old-school accusation of witchcraft. Just like in the witch trials of Europe, she's accusing Beyonce of causing harm that would be very hard to do without the assistance of magical powers. And also like the witch trials, it's very likely Beyonce had little to do with much of these accusations. It's certainly possible to cause great harm with magic. I've done it myself, but I just don't want to believe Beyonce would kill someone's cat. What's the accuracy here regarding dark magic and extreme witchcraft? The ethics of hexing and cursing are pretty much hotly debated in the witchcraft and occult community today. Personally, I don't think there are any ethics in witchcraft. If you're doing witchcraft, then that's evil. That's wicked. And if you just started, then it's only a matter of time before you get deeper into it and you find yourself committing this ritual or summoning a spirit that you can't really take back, or making a sacrifice that you can't really take back, it's probably a spiral which goes deeper into sacrifices, spilling blood, or just, ruining people's lives or darkening people's lives, for the worse. And that alone is just, that's evil, putting that on somebody else. Anyway, that's it for this article. I have one more article which goes into the details about this Kimberly Thompson's cat. Okay, Beyonce's ex-drummer accuses singer of putting spell on cat. Kimberly Thompson also claims pop star used witchcraft to jump into other bodies to watch her have sex. Huh. Even her face is like, huh. Allegedly, of course. Beyonce's former drummer has claimed the singer practiced witchcraft in order to ruin her love life and control her cat. Kimberly Thompson, 37, last week filed for a temporary restraining order against the pop star, who she claims is trying to destroy her life out of jealousy. A Los Angeles judge immediately denied the request, but according to music news site Pitchfork, another restraining order hearing is scheduled for 11 October. Meanwhile, Thompson wasn't Beyonce's all-girl backing hard. Meanwhile, Thompson, who was in Beyonce's all-girl backing band for 7 years, has given an interview on Daily Mail TV. Thompson claims Beyonce used witchcraft that allowed her to be manipulated sexually, saying the singer did this by jumping into other bodies to watch her be intimate with partners, reports the newspaper. The star is also accused of messing with a kitten belonging to Thompson, who sought the advice of psychics last year that her new pet had begun to attack her, doing weird magical stuff. I was getting abused, Thompson said to Daily Mail TV. Every time I came home from work to rest, I was just being abused to the point where I'm still healing from a scratch on my ribcage. It drew blood. It was awful. It was so manic and gnarly that I ended up calling 2 psychics. For those of you that don't know, psychics have existed for centuries, thousands of years. In the scriptures, they were known as soothsayers, as well as astronomers. Astronomers, those that observe the times. That's what astronomers are. It is sin. The Most High does not condone it. He is very against it, and you should not be partaking with or associating with psychics. Sometimes when I walk down the street, every once in a while, I see like a psychic outlet or a psychic shop in town, and I'm like, wow, man, it's actually there. Like, these people are actually really out here doing that. Stay away from that. All right. She continues to claim that they told her that Beyonce had put a spell on the cat, and that the singer later had the animal killed, she adds. For a very long time, I put this person, Beyonce, on a pedestal. I love them. Do not put anybody on a pedestal, especially celebrities. You have no idea what they're doing off camera, backstage, when the cameras are off them. Who you see on camera every time you see a celebrity or on stage, that is a facade. That is a mask. It is not real. It is not genuine, and it is not truth. Don't you ever put anybody on a pedestal except Yahweh Shai and the Most High. And maybe your parents, For a very long time, I put this person on a pedestal. I loved them, and the entire time, this person was casting spells and manipulating and controlling my job situation, my relationships, just all kinds of things, said Thompson. And Beyonce has not commented on the allegations, and of course she would not, because that would bring even more unwarranted attention to her and her brand. So there you have it. This is just something I wanted you to bring to you guys, to speculate, to ponder, and to make for conversational engagement. Personally, I think that there's some truth to these articles. I think there's some things that we have to consider concerning not only Beyonce but like other moguls. We learned about Diddy, this past year, and what he's been getting up to, and I assure you, it's not just Diddy, that's doing obscene or unquestionable or unspeakable things off camera. It's a lot of them, bro. All your favorite rappers, all your favorite actors are just as foul. Like I said, don't put anybody on a pedestal, not in this life, especially a celebrity, man, especially a famous person on TV. So yeah, that's pretty much the information I wanted to present to you guys about, and something that I want you guys to take home and to think about as the days go by, and to just remember that your favorite celebrity is, is not who they say, or not who they claim, or at least not who the camera claims them to be. Remember, do not put anybody on a pedestal. Do not put your heart or put your faith in man. Man is fleshly. Man will always disappoint. Man will always come up short. You put your faith and you put your heart in the Most High. So with that being said, please keep praying. Please keep praying to the Most High for truth, for wisdom, for understanding. And just a sidebar, pray to Him for fortitude in mind, that you are strong in your morals and your values and your principles. Pray to Him in prudence, that you are privy to what you let in your thoughts and what you don't. Pray to Him for justice, that you stand tall or you stand strong on the laws of the Most High. And pray to Him for temperance, self-control, self-restraint, and self-denial. Thank you guys. I'm gone.